Good evening, BookTube. This is Johnny down in the lower level where the library is. Somebody made a comment that the lower level used bookstore. I suppose you could call the lower level a used bookstore, but it's kind of small for a bookstore. But it's bigger than the Book Nook, the lower level. Probably has more books. But anyway, today is, what is today? I don't remember what day it is. You know, I don't remember. I should have brought my calendar down here. I think it's the 9th or the 8th of June. I don't remember now. I didn't bring down my calendar with me. Wait a minute, I have my composition. I write in here at night. Tuesday night was June the 7th. Today is Wednesday the 8th. Today is Thursday the 8th, 2022. I wrote this on Tuesday. I know today is not Wednesday. It's Thursday because tomorrow I volunteer at the Book Nook from 10 to 1. So it is a Thursday. It is the 8th. No, it's the 9th of June. And it's going on 7:05 in the evening. We had a sunny day. It's in the 60s. It's supposed to get 90 next week. Next week, Wednesday, is supposed to be 90. But this video, my wife went to an open house for her granddaughter, little Josie Joy. And I'm by myself again, and I looked at my last video, it was 22 hours. If I download this tonight around 10, it's been 24 hours, and so I'm not overloading you guys with videos, which every time I watch my videos, I kind of cringe because I can't pronunciate words or names, and I just show you a book and I just blab away and I don't really go in depth, and I like to be a perfectionist. There are booktubers online that are just really incredible when they talk about books, and like John David and Steve Donahue and Peg, the History Shelf, and people like that. But me, to me, a long time ago when I started BookTube, my philosophy is just be who you are and all your flaws, your imperfections. I know I'm a bookish person, but I'm not super smart. I have learning deficits, and but I loved books, and I loved showing you guys books I've collected, books I like to read, Christian books that I think are worth reading, etc. Well, in my last video, I talked about, I had picked up at the Book Nook last Monday some books by Carlos Baker on Hemingway, and I thought, well, I listed him in the video, my last video, I listed him because I mentioned him in the video, and I thought I might as well just show him to you. So this is the one I mentioned in that last video, Hemingway, The Writer as Artist by Carlos Baker, and the first one he did was this one, Ernest Hemingway, A Life Story by Carlos Baker. This is by Charles Scribner's and Sons. This was published in 1969, copyright. For the part of this book appeared first in the Atlantic Monthly, 1968-69, and this was come out in the book published simultaneously United States, America, Canada, copyright. Anyway, so this is Carlos Baker. This is a very famous biography on Ernest Hemingway. And then when last Monday, this one came in by Carlos, 4th edition, Hemingway by Carlos Baker, the writer as artist. For this new edition of the best-known critical study of Hemingway's work, Carlos Baker has completely revised the 2 opening chapters which deal with Hemingway's early career in Paris, and has incorporated some new material discovered since the publication of Ernest Hemingway, A Life Story. This edition also includes 2 new chapters on the movable feast and islands in the stream. Now, the movable feast is this book, this very famous book by Ernest Hemingway. It's about his early years in Paris. Movable Feast, Sketches of the Author's Life in Paris in the 20s by Ernest Hemingway. It's a very famous book. As you all know, I collect books on Paris. And this is the book I mentioned about Hemingway's Paris. There's a picture of Hemingway. Hemingway's Paris by Robert E. Gajdusek. Can't pronounce it. And it says here, this beautiful, evocative book brings to glowing life all the exuberance and drama of Hemingway's Paris, some 200 photographs and writings chosen from the work of Hemingway. His friends, relatives, biographers provide a fresh, revealing view of the life and times of America's great writer in the city he adored. Here are the cafes and nightclubs, the racetracks, the boxing rings, the streets and houses where Hemingway and his friends played, drank, and worked. Here are the writers and artists who made the 20s the century's greatest decade, and Paris their creative center. The Fitzgeralds, Gertrude Stein, Pound, Joyce, Picasso, De Palis, Miro, who was a famous artist, all close friends of Hemingway, and other major figures appear: the young J.D. Salinger, Gaio, Dr. William Carlos Williams. Hemingway first arrived in Paris as a young reporter during the First World War. He returned in 1945, a famous writer, to play an important role in the liberation of the city. In Paris, he spent the years of the lost generation, and here he came time and again to taste the city's delights. Hemingway's Paris will bring immense pleasure to all those who share his love for the city and for the writers who lived there during some of its most glorious years. So that's what the book is about, Hemingway's Paris. So that goes along with the movable feast, sketches of the author's life in Paris in the 20s by Ernest Hemingway. Now, I mentioned Carlos Baker. He did another famous biography that it's one of my favorites. It's on Ralph Waldo Emerson. He did this one. It's one of my favorite biographies on Ralph Waldo Emerson. It's called Emerson Among the Eccentrics, a Group Portrait. This is really great. This is really, I found this hardback about a year ago. I had a paperback which I gave to the book Nook, but this is really a great by Carlos Baker on Ralph Waldo Emerson. I also found, another couple books that I've I mentioned Anthony Burgess' little book on Ernest Hemingway, Literary Lives. As you all know, I collect Anthony Burgess, and it's just has pictures of Hemingway. This was when he I think he was wounded in the First World War. He was, but anyway, that's Anthony Burgess. Ernest Hemingway's great achievement was to free the novel from all. This is quoting Anthony Burgess. Ernest Hemingway's great achievement was to free the novel from all languid decorations. bookish allusions and cozy indirectness that was early 19th century inheritance. His terse prose taught the writer to engage life to the full in order to write about it, and his own life was the perfect demonstration of that principle. With skill and insight, Anthony Burgess, one of our foremost writers, traces the rapidly changing scene from the happy, complacent childhood to the grim reality of the First World War and the vulgar unreality of the Second, from the astonishing Paris of the 20s to the Spain of the Civil War and the excitement in Africa's safaris to the somber last years in Cuba. Anyway, there is a book I read last year. It's called When Despolis Was a Ambulance Driver in the 20s. No, this is during the First World War. He was an ambulance driver with John Despolis. It's called Hemingway, Despolis, and a Friendship Made and Lost in War, the Ambulance Drivers. And I also picked this book up. Ernest Hemingway, one of his famous novels is The Sun Also Rises. But then Leslie M. Bloom wrote this book, Everybody's Behaves Badly, the true story behind Hemingway's masterpiece, The Sun Also Rises. So I read these a couple of years ago. This is by, The Ambulance Drivers is by James McGrath Morris. So I kept these in my, I kept my John Despolis collection, and I collect books on the First World War and the Spanish Civil War, and that's why I have those. So I mentioned, I didn't mention this in my video, but I got, when the Hemingway collection came in, the book Nook last Monday, this book came in. It's called Hemingway, A Life Without Consequences by James R. Mellow, a national award-winning author of The Charm Circle. I had this in my catalog, in my library thing, but I must have dehauled it, but that's why I got it. James R. Mellow wrote two other famous biographies that I recommend. It's called The Charm Circle, Gertrude Stein and Company by James R. Mellow. Gertrude Stein was promoted, Hemingway, James Joyce, the early modernists there in Paris. He wrote this. It's a very famous biography on Gertrude Stein, The Charm Circle. It used to be said that when a good American died, they went to Paris. If they still do, they might well hurry to a gathering presided over by Gertrude Stein with Alice B. Tokes, with her right hand, including Picasso, Matisse, Jean Cocteau, Ernest Hemingway, Scott Fitzgerald, Sherwood Anderson, Apollinaire. For her time, Gertrude Stein's salon was one of the most distinguished in Paris. Artists and writers beat a path to the house at 27 Rue de Forez. The food was good, the conversation sparkling. The Charm Circle. James R. Mellow has written a biography that recreates the glorious menu which Gertrude Stein dominated like a literary lion she was. He also wrote James R. Mellow, one of my favorite biographies on Nathaniel Hawthorne. James Mellow, Nathaniel Hawthorne in his time, author of The Charm Circle. This is really, if you want a good biography on Nathaniel Hawthorne, I highly recommend this one. So pick up The Charm Circle. If you want a good biography on Hemingway, this is by James R. Mellow. Hemingway, The Life Without Consequences. Also, Carlos Baker, he edited the letters of Hemingway, which I also had, and I must have dehauled it, the selected letters. Ernest Hemingway, Selected Letters, 1917 and 1961, edited by Carlos Baker. Also came in the book Nook, another book. I never seen this before. This is a memoir by Hemingway's grandson, John Hemingway. It's called Strange Tribe, a family memoir by John Hemingway. I never seen this before, but it came in last Monday at the book Nook. So I picked it up because I like memoirs, and also this book came into the book Nook Monday. Isak Dinesen, Biographies and other essays. I collect her. I can't pronounce her name, but I have several of her novels. She was, I think, Isak Dinesen was the pen name of the Danish Baroness Karen Flixen. Gifted and original storyteller, she drew on experience in Africa and early life in Europe to create tales of keeping with her. It's kind of, anyway. She wrote that very famous Out of Africa. It was made into a movie with Robert Redford. And then I picked this travel book up that came in Monday at the Book Nook. Passionate Nomad, The Life of Freya Stark, by Jane Fletcher Geniesse. I like travel, memoirs, biographies. This one looked really interesting, so I picked it up. When I came home last Monday, my wife had gone to thrift stores and she picked me up The Brooklyn Follies, a novel by Paul Asher, for my Paul Asher collection, and she picked up the original illustrated Mark Twain. I collect on Mark Twain, and this has his works: The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, A Connecticut and Yankee and King Arthur's Court, The Prince and the Paupers, plus 29 short stories by Mark Twain. So I thought I'd show you those since I talked about them in my last video. So if you want a good biography on Hemingway, pick up Carlos Baker. If you want a good, interesting biography on Emerson, pick up Carlos Baker's Emerson Among the Eccentrics. This is really a great biography. I've read it a couple of times. So yeah, pick up Carlos Baker, Hemingway, A Life Story, a great biography on Hemingway. And you can pick up Hemingway biography by James Mellow. You can pick up a biography on Gertrude Stein and the Charmed Circle by James Mellow. And also James Mellow's biography on Nathaniel Hawthorne, one of our America's great writers. That's when he was older. This is when he was younger. Yeah, as you all know, I'm into biographies, memoirs, letters, autobiographies, because I'm a diary writer. I keep a diary. I've been writing down my life since I was 18 years old, and it just fascinates me how people are born, and they go through childhood, and they go through teenage, and they go through their 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s. 60s, and pretty soon I'll be going through my 70s. I'll be 70 in August. So you go through your life. Some of us get married and have kids. Some of us don't. We're single, that's fine, or we get divorced, whatever. It's just interesting how life progresses. And as you know, as a Christian, I know that when I die, that I'll spend eternity in heaven with the Lord Jesus Christ, the saints and the elect angels for all eternity, and I'll look back on this life and it'll just seem incredible. So yeah, this is, like I said, it's a Monday. No, it's not Monday. It's a Thursday. It's a Thursday, and it is Today I mowed the lawn. I did mow the lawn today because we had nice weather. This was written on Tuesday night, which was the 7th. And yesterday was a Wednesday, was the 8th, so it's Thursday the 9th. Tomorrow's a Friday, it'll be the 10th. Next week we go into the middle of the month. Next week it'll be 90 on Wednesday, and we're going to have a block party here. Everybody gets in the middle of the street, brings out picnic tables and chairs, and the ice cream patrol will be here. The Polar Patrol. The local police department has a food truck that comes and serves free ice cream to the neighbors. So my wife called them up and had them. They're going to come again. They came last summer when we had a block party. So that's next Wednesday. So today this morning I read Rudolph of Saxony. And then I read that book on, what did I read? Did I write it down here? Oh, I can't remember what I read. What did I read? Oh, I don't remember. Oh, I read The Problem of Democracy, The President Adams Confront the Cult of Personality by Nancy Isenberg and Andrew Bernstein. I read that this afternoon. So I hope you're having a good reading week. I thank you for the comments. Do pray that you're having a good day. And I still got a stack of thrift store books over there I'll show in the future. And maybe tomorrow at the Book Nook, something will come in. So I don't really go anywhere now because gas is so high that I don't... like if I was to drive to Grand Rapids, it's going on $5 a gallon of gas, and it takes 2 gallons. That's $10 just to go to Grand Rapids. It's kind of crazy. So I'm cutting back on having to go anywhere. And where do I need books? I got plenty of books here. And I'm not into anything else. I'm not into going anywhere else except thrift stores or the Book Nook, and that's about it. I don't go anywhere else. So anyway, I'm just rambling. I hope you're having a good week. Thank you for the comments. I'll download this tonight before I go to bed around 11. And once again, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your comments. And until next time, bye.